What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads Daily, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Daniel Stark, and some exciting prospect news for the Dodgers to get to. Andy Pages reportedly going to make his debut tonight. But first, Daniel, let's talk about the game briefly from last night. Dodgers facing the Nationals, a game that you'd expect them to win. Mitchell Parker making his major league debut against Tyler Glasnow, excuse me. And maybe I'm calling him Travis because he kind of pitched like Travis Glasnow. Struggled last night, and losing 6-4. Briefly on that one, what jumped out to you about last night's game?
Yeah, I mean, hey, Dodgers have lost 4 out of 5 now, so they've hit their first little, rough patch of the season. I know me and you personally are not concerned. Like some of the people on Twitter are starting to lose it already. It's going to be a long year if you're sitting here in the middle of April, already freaking out. But yeah, obviously not a great game for the Dodgers. Not Tyler Glasnow's best start, which his last start actually
Yeah,
was his very best
literally.
start, like 14 Ks in 7 innings. So you're hoping he could, have a similar type outing to that, and it wasn't the case. It did come out after the fact that he was a little under the weather, and you could see him on the mound. He was kind of coughing a little and stuff. So hopefully he's not spreading that throughout the clubhouse. But obviously not his best outing, and considering all the injuries in the rotation and such, he's kind of the guy you rely on every fifth or sixth day, whatever
Yeah.
it is, to go out and give you quality innings. So obviously not great there, but I do think the bullpen did a nice job after him. Some guys they just called up, Nick Ramirez and Vanasco. They both look pretty good. So that's a positive right there. We've seen the bullpen struggle a lot this season. So if they could get some guys in there that could give them quality innings, that's great. But yeah, overall, not a great game by any means. Obviously, you want to beat a team like the Nationals. But they got another game tonight, which we'll get into, and of course, still plenty of season left here.
Yeah, briefly, Tyler Glasnow, 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, just 5 strikeouts. But you mentioned Ramirez and Vanasco, 4 perfect innings with 2 strikeouts and just 36 pitches. So just 9 pitches per inning for those two guys. We're not penciling them into high leverage roles, but with all the struggles the Dodgers relievers have had, it was nice of them to sort of keep the Dodgers in the game. The other major storyline, the bottom of the order, Kike Hernandez, Chris Taylor, Miguel Rojas started the game. Outman, Lux, and Trammell all came in. That group, 12 plate appearances, 0 hits. They were 0 for 11 with a sacrifice fly from Chris Taylor. So not good stuff there. But that leads into the second piece of news and the biggest piece of news, which is that one of the Dodgers' top prospects, Andy Pages, expected to be called up and debut tonight. Francis Romero, I believe, was first on this. Daniel, this is a guy that a year ago was one of the Dodgers' top prospects. But in June of 2023, after being sort of placed in the top 60-ish among Major League Baseball prospects, he gets called up to AAA. He plays one game and he tears his labrum just 10 months ago. Typically, this is an 11-month injury. Pages doesn't care at all about that, apparently, because the guy has
Yeah.
been absolutely destroying baseballs down at AAA. As we sit here today, he's got a 371 batting average, a 452 on base, a 694 slug with 5 home runs in 15 games. And again, expected to be called up and debut tonight, according to Romero. This is sort of an exciting thing, I think, for the Dodgers. We didn't know where he was going to fit, but the fact that he's going to play, there's a need. Only positives here for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a lot sooner than I think any of us expected when you consider he was coming off a major
Yep.
shoulder surgery in the middle of last year. But he came out in spring training and looked awesome, and then has kind of continued it in AAA to start the year. So with that being the case, might as well call him up. You just talked about the bottom of the order. They've been getting absolutely zero production from any of those
Yeah.
guys to this point, and obviously those guys all have track records, and they're going to be better eventually. Like, you don't necessarily expect them to be good, but they're going to be better than they have been. But at the same time, when you got a guy with, the talent that Pages does, might as well give him that runway, especially I believe I forgot who, someone reported that Jason Hayward had like a bit of a setback. So he's not necessarily going to be back within the next week or so. So that kind of opens up a spot. I would guess, Taylor Trammell gets the DFA here to take the roster spot. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're replacing anyone super important, and he could kind of get a bit of a runway here in left field to see if he could continue this hot streak that basically started at the beginning of the spring.
Yeah, I'm with you. To your point on Hayward, still experiencing soreness, and Dave Roberts kind of said, "Hey, he's been out long enough at this point that he's going to have to go on a rehab assignment." I'm with you. Taylor Trammell would seem to be the guy that I don't see a future and a role with him in the Dodgers organization, especially not on the 40-man roster and at the major league level. And from there, the Hayward spot is kind of open. And so Pages, I imagine, Daniel, they're not calling him up just to be a pinch hitter, right? Like he's going to be a borderline everyday player, you think, for the next couple of weeks?
That would be my guess, and it would be silly to not do that. Like to call him up just to sit on the bench wouldn't make a lot of sense. And it's not like he's like you got like a set outfield with 3 guys where like we can't bench any of these guys. Like right now, none of those guys are producing. Like Chris Taylor has done nothing. Kike has done nothing.
Yeah.
Gavin Lux has done nothing. Like they got spots open here, so. I would definitely, bring him up with the intention of playing him every day. Give him a week or two, kind of see how that looks. And if he stays as hot as he was in AAA or anywhere close to that, obviously now you have a new starting left fielder for the foreseeable future. So, I think it'll be like they'll give him a week and kind of assess from there. But I definitely think we could expect to see him in the lineup pretty much every day for the next week or so to start.
Yeah, and as we transition to tonight's game, nice little soft landing spot here against Patrick Corbin and the Nationals. Corbin on the season, an ERA of 8.44. He's had 3 starts. He's allowed 4 runs, and 7 runs in those 3. So if you're a AAA outfielder coming up, Patrick Corbin's kind of the guy that you'd like to see on the mound against them. Dodgers, huge favorites tonight, Daniel, heading into this one, despite the fact that it's going to be a bullpen game for the Dodgers. Ryan Yarbrough expected to take down some bulk innings, but the fact that Ramirez and Vanasco were able to sort of preserve the bullpen last night, I think is a positive, especially with Landon Knack expected to make his debut on Wednesday night. So just looking at some of the numbers here, minus 285, the Dodgers on the money line. A couple props, I guess, that I would throw out, and I'm curious to get your thoughts. Dodgers to score over 5.5 runs, minus 120. And then Patrick Corbin under 15.5 outs recorded would be minus 135. So a little bit of juice on those, but I got to believe the Dodgers offense is going to get going against Corbin tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Corbin obviously isn't what he used to be. He's been struggling for a few years here, and like you said, the Dodgers offense kind of feels like they're due. The last couple of nights have been pretty quiet, especially with runners in scoring position. So tonight could be a night that they break out. Like you said, they got a bullpen game going, so that's a night where you kind of come in with the mindset like, hey, we gotta score some runs tonight. Yeah. I know Yarbrough is capable of giving you innings, and like you said, they have a rested bullpen just because the 2 guys they called up took down some innings yesterday. But at the same time, when you see Patrick Corbin on the mound, you look at that as a chance to score runs. And now, with the addition of Pages, that could potentially give the lineup a little more length there. Maybe you actually get some production out of the bottom of the order for once.
I love how nicely you put that. He isn't what he used to be. And by the way, used to be was like 2019. Here's his ERA since 2020.
Hey, no disrespect. No disrespect.
No disrespect, but 4.66, 5.82, 6.31, 5.20, 8.44 this year. So the guy hasn't had an ERA under 4.5 since 2019. He hasn't had an ERA under 5.2 since 2020. So a nice little track record there building up. And again, Dodgers, I mean, minus 285 is a massive, massive money line number in a baseball game. So Scott and I will be live post game, by the way, tonight. So if you're watching that game, Pages' debut should be a fun one. Scott and I will be live right here on the Dodger Blue channel afterwards. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on Dodger Heads Daily. That is Daniel Stark, and I am Jeff Spiegel. Again, make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell here on YouTube. If you're a podcast person, check out the Dodger Heads podcast. And of course, check out DodgerBlue.com. As soon as a move is made regarding that Pages call-up, the Nat call-up tomorrow, if Kyle Hurt makes his way onto the roster at some point in the next couple of days, DodgerBlue.com will have the latest. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. As always, go Dodgers.